If you watched our last episode, you already know this truth. The biblical year does not begin in January, it does not begin in the dead of winter, and it has nothing to do with the Roman god Janus. In that episode, we proved directly from Scripture that the year begins in springtime, exactly as God commanded. But today's episode exists because the deception did not stop with January and the pagan Roman god Janus. They didn't just change January, they changed everything that has to do with time. They changed when the day begins, when the week begins, how the month is counted, and when the year starts. So today, we are not revisiting one detail. We are breaking down the entire biblical calendar and to expose how time itself was altered and weaponized. This is God's time versus man's clock. The prophet Daniel warned us with chilling accuracy. Listen carefully. He said, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws." Daniel chapter 7 verse 25. This verse reveals a system, not a single act. First, he shall speak great words against the Most High, meaning he contradicts what God says. He exalts his authority above God's authority. In other words, he shows himself as God. Second, he shall think to change times and laws. Notice the order. Change times first and laws second. Even daylight saving time proves how comfortable modern systems are with manipulating time. Changing God's time changed his worship. Calendars were rewritten, holy days replaced, biblical months were forgotten. You eventually erase God's statutes and commandments. And third, he shall wear out the saints of the Most High. Who are the saints? Scripture defines them. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. Psalm chapter 148 verse 14. God's people are the saints. And how are the saints worn out? Not only by persecution, not only by false traditions, but by forgetting. The slow replacement of truth with convenience. This is the truth most people never hear. When time is altered, identity is erased. Forgetting God's commandments, forgetting God's calendar, forgetting God's appointed times. You don't have to destroy God's people if only you can make them forget who they are. Paul explains exactly how this happens. In the book of Romans, he asked, "Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator." Romans chapter 1 verse 25. Notice the language. This is not just about idols of stone. It's about systems. When God's calendar is altered, his truth is modified, and his order is disrupted. Consequently, worship subtly transitions from the Creator to created systems. This alteration encompasses time itself. When God's calendar is changed, they are not merely adjusting dates. They are transforming truth into a lie. The Most High Yahweh does not exist inside time. He created it. Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, and let them be for signs and seasons. Genesis chapter 1 verse 14. The word seasons in Hebrew is called moed. It means appointed times, a set times, fixed seasons. Often refers to divinely appointed times and not just weather seasons. Time was never random. It was structured by God. So now let's examine how man restructured it. Rome says, a day begins at midnight. God never said that. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. Evening comes before morning. A biblical day begins at sunset, ends at the next sunset. This is confirmed in Exodus chapter 12, verse 18, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 32, and in Mark chapter 1, verse 32. Midnight is Roman tradition. Sunset is biblical truth. The week is not astronomical, meaning that there is no celestial body that explains or defines it. The week exists because God revealed it. It says, "And on the seventh day, God ended his work." Genesis chapter 2, verse 2 to 3. 7 days. Unbroken since creation. The Sabbath begins at sunset on the sixth day and ends at sunset on the seventh day. Now, here is a critical truth. Sunday worship was never practiced by first-century Christians. Not once, not taught by Christ, not commanded by the apostles. It was not until 321 CE that Emperor Constantine issued a decree enforcing Sunday observance. And guess what? Even the name exposes its origin. Sunday in Latin is dies solis, a title rooted in the sacred day of the sun, which the Roman Empire worshipped as the chiefest of the astrological deities. This was not a biblical shift. It was the fulfillment of Daniel chapter 7, verse 25, changing times and laws under imperial authority. Modern calendars ignore the moon, but the scripture not. He made the moon to serve in her season for a declaration of times. The month is called after her name. Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 6 to 8. This tells us plainly, the moon declares time. It marks God's appointments. The word month is named after the moon. The moon governs months. Months begin after the new moon. Isaiah confirms, from one new moon to another. Isaiah chapter 66, verse 23. Biblical months are lunar, meaning it's determined by the moon. Roman months follow politics. The biblical year. As we proved in our last episode, the year does not begin in January. God says, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months." Exodus chapter 12, verse 2. That month is Abib or Aviv, springtime. Life begins in spring. Creation testifies it, and Scripture confirms it. Not in winter, not under Janus. Now ask yourself, why did time have to be changed? Rome could not replace God's worship without replacing God's time. So they changed the day, replaced the Sabbath, ignored the moon, and shifted the year, all while claiming divine authority. Exactly what Daniel warned. Here is God's true reckoning of time. The day begins at sunset. The week is a 7-day cycle from creation. The Sabbath was never changed by God. The month begins after the new moon, and the year begins in spring. The month Abib or Aviv. This is not about tradition. This is about truth versus substitution. Like this video, share this message. People deserve to know this truth. When God's time is restored, His people no longer feel worn out or exhausted. Subscribe to Solid Bible Truth.